Hello everybody, this is a two-part series about using external resource references in Microsoft Office documents. In this first part, I will be focusing on template injection, and in the second part, I will show you something which is not as common as template injection, and it is called only object embedding or injecting. So let's back to the first part where I will be performing the template injection. I will show you how does it work, how you can create something like this, and why the template injection, because it's quite heavily used with some APDs, so you will learn how to do it, how to analyze it, and other stuffs. So let's jump to our VM, and for this exercise I already prepared HTTP server. You can think about it that it's something like attacker server, the command and control server, which will be serving malicious payloads to the victim. You can see on the implementation here, and you can see that the server will be listening on port 80 and it will serve two files. This is quite not common, but you can think about it that this is an attacker server and it will be serving the malicious file, the payload, and also some decoy file according some network fingerprint. In this case, I'm checking the user agent, and if it looks like that the user agent is really Microsoft Office, I will serve the malicious file, and if it's not Microsoft Office, it will be probably some tool which analyst will be using for downloading the payload. For example, PowerShell, it could be curl, it could be wget or something like that. So if you will try to download it with, for example, these tools, you will get some decoy file. I will show you later. You can see that this HTTP server is listening on my IP address of this VM. You can check it here, ipconfig, and you can see it's 192.168.56.2. And for this exercise, I want to modify the host file because it's one of the easiest way how you can resolve some domain to my IP address to be not as malicious in the network. So go to hosts file and open it, and you can see that I already added here one entry, and it's the IP address, this IP address, which is IP address of my VM, and this is some domain bitcoin.com. So basically bitcoin.com will be resolved to my IP address. Okay. So first of all, we will create our template, which will support a macro, which is basically Visual Basic Code. And this template will be served as a payload with the template injection method to some document file which supports template injection. So go to the Microsoft Office, Word, and create blank file, blank document. Go to developer, Visual Basic, double click on this document, and create some macro code for this exercise. I already prepared one macro code, and this macro code basically uses some outrun method, which is document open. This method will run when the document is open, and it will basically only run the calculator. Now save the file and save it as first of all to location where is my HTTP server, because it will be served as the payload, and save it as some as a template which supports macro. You can see word macro enable template.n. Okay, let's save it. Oh, I saved it to wrong location, but it doesn't matter. Yes, yes. And I save it to documents and custom office templates, and you can see it here. So copy it or move it to the location where the HTTP server is here. And what's the funny thing, if you check my HTTP server implementation, you can rename it as a Bitcoin JPEG because it doesn't matter. The name is absolutely nothing here because the most important is that my HTTP server will serve this file as application Microsoft Word. And this is basically the only thing which Microsoft Office check. No, the name is not important here, but it's quite good that you can include some link to the file which will be performing the template injection, and the link will be not containing some .m file. So let's rename it as a Bitcoin JPEG. And this is our malicious template. Now we have to create the document in which we will inject this template. So go to the Microsoft Word and use some default built-in template. For example, resume, and save it. Save as and save it to downloads. Okay, and we can rename it as, for example, something what user will 100% sure open. For example, Bitcoin wallet 2, and save it. You can close it and go to the downloads. Basically, docx is a compressed file, and it's something like zip. So you can uncompress it or open it with 7-zip. It's the easiest method how you can modify the external resources. So open archive or open archive and go to Word and Rails and settings. Here is the definition for the template. Click edit and you can see here. Here is the definition for the template. You can see attach template. Here is the target, which points to my file system, and here is the target mode external, which is okay. You basically have to only change this, the target, and let's point it to my HTTP server. So HTTP bitcoin.com and Bitcoin JPEG, and that's all. Save it. File, save, close it. 7-zip will pop up that the settings XML Rails was modified. Do you want to update? Yes. And that's all. You have successfully created a document which will inject a template. And in this case, the template is this Bitcoin JPEG, which is in real a template.m file. And this template is containing, let's say, malicious macro. Now run Wireshark because I want to show you something in a network. Attach it to the loopback in this case. Now we will be running our HTTP server. it's in Python 2, so let's run Python 2 http, run it. You can see that it started port 80, and it will be serving this Bitcoin JPEG. So now go to downloads, and this is our file which our victim will open, and method template injection will be performed. So let's double click to open it. You can see here starting, and what you can see, it has macro, and if you enable, calculator will pop up. Okay, so you can close it, and you can see this was the communication of the Microsoft Office and response of my HTTP server. How you can analyze this? Because basically, what analysts do, they will probably use some open source tools for that. My favorite is OliTools, in this case OliVBA. So you can use my PowerShell and check this file, and OliVBA is doing such a good work with detection of external resources, in this case template. You can see it like this. You can see suspicious template injection. Template injection found a malicious template could have been uploaded from a remote location. That's basically 100% correct. And you can see also here this target. This is basically our URL. And it's all. You can see it, you analyze it, it's correct. But what will be the next step for the analyst? Trying to download the malicious payload. Let's copy it and try to download it. Invoke web request, and URL will be this, and out file will be, let's say, bitcoin 1.jpg. And if you try to download it, what you can see here, that you downloaded something, but this is not our malicious payload. This is some decoy file which says let's fuck you. Okay, what's happened? As I already tell you, our attacker server, the command and control server, is has implemented something what I call network fingerprint. You can see that the user agent of PowerShell was probably not Microsoft Office, so my server responded with a decoy file, the real image, as you saw before. And you can see in Wireshark, let's say filter HTTP request method, and you can see here this was probably the PowerShell. If you checked it, copy here, follow TCP stream. This was the user agent of PowerShell. You can see it here, and the response was the JPEG. But if you check what user agent looks like in case of Microsoft Office, you can see it here. And this is the user agent of Microsoft Office. You can see Microsoft MSOffice. So just copy that, and we will try to look as much as possible as a Microsoft Office with PowerShell. So let's copy the user agent. Okay. Come back to PowerShell, go to downloads, come back to PowerShell, and again, the same. Let's save it as Bitcoin 2, and the user agent will be the one copied before, the one which basically looks like a user agent of Microsoft Office. And download it. And when you can see here now, you can see the file is different immediately. And if you check it in hex editor, you will see something that it looks like zip file, and this contains some XML file. It contains some XML file. It looks like basically as some Microsoft Office document or some zip file. So we can investigate it now, because for example you can 7-zip open archive. That's not what I wanted to do. No. Yeah. Okay. So rename it to documents. 7-zip open archive, and what you can see, yeah, it's a Microsoft Office document. Nice. And you can see here that it contains macro. Now you can use again OliVBA. So OliVBA and bitcoin.m, and we can see basically our macro code. An auto exec function document opened. Nice, good job. Well, that's all. That was basically some simply introduction on how you can perform template injection, how you can analyze it. Be careful about the user agent or another fingerprints, network fingerprints, which could be implemented in the attacker side. And in this case, I show you that open source tools have quite a very good detection of external resources. But in second part, I will show you that there is one example when the external resources are not as good detected as they should be, and it will be all about second part and performing OLI object injection. Thank you for watching, and see you on the part 2.